Let's create a 3D garment for Lens Studio using VStitcher and the Metail Skinner plugin. First, select the latest Metail Lens avatar and select either the A01 pose or the T pose. Then dress the avatar and let's make sure that the grid size is around 1.6 centimeters. You can check here the grid size. This is to make sure that there are not too many polygons. Then go to the Skinner plugin and do export external mesh. That will create two FBX files. Just ignore the one that says _mesh. And let's import this FBX file into Lens Studio. Let's create a new project in Lens Studio. Simply drag and drop the FBX file that you created. Use the default settings. Once imported, you should see the mesh in here of your garment and a material which has the albedo texture already assigned. And two textures should have been imported, the albedo and the normal. Now create a full body mesh. In the full body mesh, drag and drop your mesh, the garment mesh in here, external mesh, and select the pose that you use. In this case, it's the A pose. Okay, now you see it works. And last thing to do is to drag and drop the material in here. And that's it. Now let's repeat the process but using a skinning. For this one, let's use the A02 pose because the draping looks more natural. Let's dress it and then go to a skin garment for Lens Studio option. Again, this creates two FBX files, just ignore the one that says _mesh. And the one that you've created now has a skeleton. If you open that file in a 3D package like Blender, you can see that it has a skeleton and that you can pose it. So this is useful if you want to customize your skinning or do some custom animations. Now let's create a new project in Lens Studio. Again, simply drag and drop the FBX file you've created. Now what you have to do is to add a full body tracking object. When you have the full body tracking object, you drag and drop your FBX file in here. And you see it's attached to the body now. And select the tracking object and click Match Hierarchy. Select the FBX file, click OK, and that should track now your body. Now let's add the body occluder. You can simply add a full body mesh. By default it adds to body index 1, let's change it to 0. This should be tracking 0 as well. You can see it now here. We are not interested in the body because there's Z fighting in there, so we can disable the body and leave the hands and the head. And now we have to replace the material by an occluder material. So search for occluder. Right, and you have the occluder. And drag and drop the material in there. And now you have an occluder for the hands and the head. Now let's update the lighting because this looks very bright. So let's disable the directional light and let's enable the dynamic environment map. You have to select here the device camera texture. And now you can see that the lighting adapts to the environment. Now let's update the materials. By default, you get this material, but let's create an Uber PBR. So this is the Uber PBR. Let's assign it to our garment. So drag and drop the Uber PBR here. And now we have to assign the textures. So in texture, select the base color. Okay, now you can select the normal. And the next thing is to select the material parameters, the specular lighting. So if you go back to the folder that has been created, there should be a texture called material params. Just drag and drop that into your texture folders. You should see the texture in there. So now just assign that to your PBR. And that's it. This is a summary of what the Metail Skinner plugin does for you. Thanks for watching.